Good day to you. Danny Heatherton here. Bob Dylan once did a song with these two lines. Do you ever wonder just what God requires? You think he's just an errand boy to satisfy your wandering desires. Well, at the time, guess whom he was singing it to directly in that song? You guessed it, me. Well, I've been thinking, what does the Almighty require of us? Well, I got to thinking about what he would want if you were him and he were you. You'd be asking God, I want to be in heaven with you when I die. That's certainly where I'd like to go, all right. Now, wouldn't God himself, on the opposite hand, say to us, oh, you want to be in heaven with me when you die, right? Well, therefore that means you're going to be totally mine, right? And you will belong 100% to me, correct? And you're like, well, yes, God, I believe that's what that means. But here's the point. Here's where I'm going with this, people. Why wouldn't he, the Almighty, want us, this is really good, mind you, to be 100% his right here and now while we're alive in these bodies on this earth right now? Of course he would want us to be 100% his now. And this is where this hot, cold versus lukewarm matter comes into play. We have to be on fire for the King of Kings. Now also, in the basic instructions before leaving earth, you'll see that God is a jealous God. And I'll bet you that if we give our attention to anything else in this world, I'll bet you he's saying, oh, I bet you were focused on me like you are on whatever that is that you're also focused upon. He wants all of us, all right. Why wouldn't he want all of us? We are to be living thinking only about him. And another thing I'd like to point out, we can't be in love with this world or the things of this world at all, right? Yeah, that's important. Because then we don't love him, you see. We're supposed to look at this world like, I don't like it at all, I don't fit into it at all, which it kind of doesn't seem like I do. I do fit into it if I'm walking in his perfect will, which I'm, fortunately to say, getting closer and closer to every day. But we're not supposed to like the things of the world. God dislikes this world. He dislikes the pleasures in this world. He dislikes people focusing on this world more than focusing upon him. Now, in the book of Genesis, the first of 66 books of the basic instructions before leaving earth, God actually was disappointed in man. He was given a free will, yet he took went his own way. And it turned out that God had regretted making man. Can you imagine making man and then turning right around and regretting it? Like, you know what, I think I made a mistake by creating mankind. Can you imagine that? Yes, it's difficult to imagine such a thing, but this is how he felt. Everybody had let him down. He couldn't find anyone righteous except for Noah, and that's why he built an ark. And wow, that's him being pretty disappointed. If he would cause a flood to envelop the entire earth and the entire globe be covered with water, and only Noah and his kin escaping. I mean, wow, that's pretty serious. But he is a jealous God. We have to look at him like he is. Now remember, some people think that God is love. But he's that and so much more. Can he be angry? Oh, you better believe it. And you don't want to make him angry. It boils down to, in the end, and I say this to these people who like to question Christians and ask them all these questions they can't answer, like, how do you explain this and that? Here's what it all boils down to. I speak to those skeptical people by saying, in the final analysis, which side of his, God Almighty's side, do you wish to be on? His good side or his bad side? Boils down to, you don't want to be on his bad side. You want to be on his good side. That's what it boils down to in the end. If he can be disappointed with mankind, disappointed with the way we're living. Now, mind you, he's got wrath stored up to those who say, oh, I don't need you, God. You don't notice it. But if it comes lashing out, look out. I mean, it would be more than just a little river running by a person's house. I mean, that's just him saying, hey, you know what, I'm getting a little bit mad. You know, he's very gracious that he didn't, just wipe certain persons out or something. That could be coming. But we don't want to put him to the test. We don't want to make him mad. We don't want to be displeasing to God Almighty. If we want to spend eternity in heaven with him, then he wants us to act like we're already there right now. Like, that's the Christian walk, people. You completely disconnect yourself with the world and the things of the world. It says, love not the world nor the things in the world. It means that very matter-of-factly. We all have to keep ourselves in check. This world has a lot of enticing things to offer, sure. I mean, I've never, even seen the inside of a new car in the last couple decades, for example. I mean, they've got these big screens. It looks like you're in a movie theater or something. So, I mean, point is, you could get really infatuated with the things of this world, but don't you dare do it, because the bottom line is we need to keep ourselves focused upon heaven, you see. Heaven's where we want to go. And yes, hell is a real place inside of the earth, some 3,700 miles below the surface. And it's a terrible place. The whole thing wasn't kidding, and we can't wait until we're dead to find out, oh no, now I'm there, and this thing wasn't kidding, was it? No, you want to know that now, so we can live right, and so he will take us to heaven. Now, about a rapture, yes, it's very possible. It's very possible it could happen. That's all the more reason that we need to be living right. If he were to gather up people that were truly serving him, and we were going to be meeting him in the air, all right, wouldn't you want to be one of those people going with him to heaven? Yeah, you wouldn't want to be like, take me, and him look at you like, I don't know, you kind of like the world, you stay there or something, right? You'd be like, no, take me with, no, I think I'd rather be with you. Well, let's think that way now, which I do think that way. But other people need to think that way too. I just know there's people, I don't know how I know this, that leave church on a Sunday at about 12 noon, and they probably, I'm just guessing this, because I know it happens somewhere, okay? They whip out their telephone, like, let me see, check the football score and see who's winning the game or something. I mean, in my personal opinion, that's not, really, I mean, a lot of people are going to be offended by me saying this, but I don't think that's loving the Lord, you know what I mean? All that stuff doesn't matter. What matters is whether or not you're going to heaven, we've got to be, well, he's a jealous God, all right. We've got to be, I would be if I were him, if I were him and he were me, sure I'd be jealous. I'd be like, you gave yourself to me, you're mine, okay, and don't you ever forget it. Hey, and it's good. It's all good, right? He's a wonderful God. He's a beautiful God, But we need to know he's not all just love. Can he get mad? Oh, yeah. And we don't want to do that to him. We want to be pleasing in his sight, and we want to be examining ourselves to see if we're doing anything displeasing to him. And if we are, then we need to allow him to deal with us on it, myself included. Now, I just know that, again, in short, I'm a messenger in this world to spread the message that these basic instructions before leaving Earth aren't kidding. There really is a heaven, there really is a hell, and we want to be thinking about this now while we're alive. It's not something we want to put off and think about later on, or not think about very hard, or say, hey, that sounds depressing to think about that. No, we want to be thinking about it. If we think about retirement or where we're going on vacation or any other frivolous little thing like that, then we certainly want to be thinking about where we're going to go when we die. The last thing a person wants to think about is their own death, myself included, right? But it's funny, if we get raptured, you won't actually die. You don't even have to die. Isn't that wild? I mean, like, you're still alive. If he does, gather you up in the clouds and so forth. But if that's the wonderful news here, people. If we're really serving him, really sold out to him, like, Jesus, I love you. I'm not lukewarm. I love you. I do want to be the biggest Jesus freak on the planet, which I kind of do want to be. That's what he likes. Then he's going to be like, okay, when I come back to gather up my people, I'm going to take you with me. You're coming with me, right? But if we thought, well, I think I like this in the world and like that in the world, what's he going to say? He's like, I don't know. Should I take you with me? It looks like you kind of like this world. If there is going to be something called a tribulation, this is something else altogether. It's very complex. Now, that means things are going to get way worse than anything we've ever seen. I mean, it's bad enough right now that we don't want to be here and would rather be in heaven. But all the more so later on if there is a tribulation period. Yes, I'm a believer that this so-called rapture would be first before the tribulation. They call that pre-trib. Yeah. Okay, I'm one of those people who theorize it that way. All right. But in summary and in closing, what does God require? Well, he requires something, all right. We don't just get saved and then do whatever we want. No, he requires obedience. We have to obey what he's saying to do and not do what he says. If he deals with us on something that we shouldn't be doing, then we shouldn't be doing it. He knows what's best for us. God Almighty is looking out for our best interests. And we certainly want to be on his good side, even right now, even while this world is still turning and we're still alive and doing fine. Yeah, we want to be thinking about him at all times, day, night, every minute, people. Yeah, that's right. Just what if it's all true, I'll say in closing. Just what if these are the last days? Just what if he really is going to come back? And I know a lot of people have been saying, hey, it's been a long time, and he's been saying he's going to come back. Would he be kidding about it? Of course not. And with this year's, I don't know, this year's got an interest. There's something about the number 23. It's kind of a special number. That's all I'll say. But am I worried about it? Oh, you betcha. Yeah. I got to know I'm focused 101% on him if he were to come back. Yeah, you bet. Nothing else that would be displeasing to him. You better believe it. Sure, man. It's so important. Oh, I want to go to heaven. I want to be in that beautiful, perfect place called heaven. Oh, man. It would be so wonderful. There's colors there like you've never seen in any sunset, like way beyond that, they say. Singing beyond what could be described on this planet. And on it goes. So, be heaven-minded, be pleasing to God, and be asking yourself, what does he require of me? Well, I'll tell you, some kind of service. We all have to do our part for him. All right. See you the next time. And until then, may God bless.